Welcome to another episode of HardCore Podcast, where we dive deep into the untold truth, the raw, the real, and the unfiltered truth that concerns our people. No fluff, no sugarcoating, just the hardcore insights you want to hear. And today we'll be breaking down into the legal system because we are going to be talking about some legal system and legal issues that concern our people when it comes down to Nigeria, when it comes down to Enugu State, down to Okpaboi. And today with me here, I have a very, very big masquerade today. He is a very, very respected human, a very, very respected personality in his field. He is a champion of justice and integrity, upholding the law. With an impressive background as a philanthropist, social critic, and human and civil rights lawyer, we are so excited to be sharing our studio session with him. He is very disciplined and ambitious in inspiration and lots more. We have none other than a very, very big masquerade himself, Barrister Frank Agbowo. Welcome to HardCore Podcast, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. This is HardCore Podcast, where we are trying to celebrate our own and teach our people some things they don't know, and also unravel some things that people don't actually know the details about. And we are going to be focusing on your own aspect, which is the legal system in Nsukka. Any word from you, sir?
Well, first I have to say thank you for this privilege. I've been following your program and it's actually gaining a global attention.
Thank you, sir.
This is what we encourage ourselves to be doing, where we can have a platform to speak and the world will hear us.
Yeah.
And for now, you are a leading voice in the activities of our time.
Thank you.
And I must have to commend you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, let's jump to it right away.
Okay.
My first question to you will be, how accessible do you see the legal representation system? How accessible is the legal representation for average citizens of Nsukka?
Okay, well, I think, Nsukka is a developing city.
Okay.
Unlike major town or cities where you find it very difficult, extremely difficult to access justice system through lawyers because of the economic implication. But in Nsukka, as of today, we are also growing along with the system to make sure that people are able to access justice when they are in need of it. The cost implication of having or gaining access to justice in Nsukka is not that high. Lawyers within this area also take the economic implication into consideration in discussing or negotiating with their clients. So fairly, on average, Nsukka people for now have not complained and they are assessing justice. Okay. Beyond the monetary aspect of it, there are people who are willing to offer their legal assistance, their legal advice to the people in need of it, with or without money. But there must be people who are deemed to be people who cannot afford the service of a lawyer. Yeah. So for now, the greater number of Nsukka people who are desirous of having legal representation, you do have access to it.
Okay. Do you think the judiciary prioritize the rights of the wealthy over the rights of the poor?
Well, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't be emphatic. Okay. Or I wouldn't give the answer to this at a point. Okay. I would rather specify it because they are conditional. Okay. First is that when you say prioritizing, judiciary prioritizing the need of the affluent over justice or the poor, then I may not agree with you in all entirety because except for political matters, except matters that have political undertone, most time people get justice. Our judiciary so far they are also courageous enough to make pronouncements on striking issues. But with what actually happened, in 2023 general election, one will be careful to say that judiciary don't prioritize the need of the well-being, the need of the affluence, the rich over the poor. So, but I will leave it at that.
Okay. Do you believe local courts here are equipped enough to handle high-profile cases or sensitive cases without external pressure?
Yes, we have some courageous judges here.
Okay.
Yes, the judges we have here, especially in Nsukka, they are courageous judges who have even made pronouncements on cases affecting state government.
Okay.
Yes, we have instances of cases where even a judge sitting in Nsukka here has issued an injunction restraining the state government from carrying out a particular act.
Okay.
Now, it is important that we understand that the court is not just the edifice, it's not just the hall. The court include the judge, the staff, and the lawyers that appear before the court.
Yes.
And now, the physical or infrastructural facilities, so far, the former governor of Enugu State actually did well in that area. He gave us an edifice, he gave us a complex, gave us courtrooms, both magistrates and high court. Though that of the magistrate is yet to be fixed. I mean, the yet to be put in order. But we have the structure, well positioned. And then we have the staff of the court doing their job diligently. So we have everything that could actually give us justice.
Yes.
We have courageous jurists, we have courageous judges who are delivering judgments on daily basis without fear or favor.
Okay. How do cultural practices and beliefs in Nsukka, impact the enforcement of Nigerian law here in Nsukka?
Okay, every law takes into consideration the local content, the custom and tradition of the people. Now, when you come to Nsukka, we have custom and traditions that affect us as a people, different from other places. And our laws take into consideration some of these cultural practices. For instance, I don't know whether I'm actually going beyond, but then, for instance, we have how do I put it? We have customs that are peculiar to us.
Yes.
We have tradition that are peculiar to us. Which, of course, when you marry it with other people, it may not be the same.
Yes.
Like when you come to Nsukka, it is a taboo. It is a crime. It is an abomination for a woman who is under a man as a husband to let another man have access to her. Now, that is different from the position of the law. The law says that as long as it stands today in the South, that such is not a crime. But you and I know that in our Nsukka custom and tradition, beyond the supernatural that we believe should actually go after such a woman. If such a woman is caught committing such atrocity, first the people will gather. It's either banish her out of the village, or may even do something that may escalate to a point where the woman may be struggling with living or with being alive or dead. This is just the way some laws may actually go in variance with our custom and tradition.
Okay. Have you handled cases involving youth misconduct in the past, and what pattern or challenges have you observed from that?
Okay, well, relatively, the youth of Nsukka are not majorly into crime. Relatively, they are considered people who are well trained and well brought up. Most of the cases of the youth that we've been able to, champion are cases maybe relating to police abuse, maybe the reigning crime of internet scamming and fraud. But then, sometimes some of these youths are into legit business, legit internet businesses. We have crypto, we have those who are into Pile and good number of other internet businesses. But fear of even them knowing actually that these are legal thing. Once the police run into them, they will, consider that act maybe fraud and otherwise, and from there the police will extort them and intimidate them into parting a good number of money to them. So this, for the youth so far, these are just the two areas. But our youth are not into maybe armed robbery. They have not been so pronounced in being into kidnapping. Very few, on rare cases will you see a youth of Nsukka getting involved in this crime.
I mean, it's most of us who are there and followed up on the case which recently involved a young man, Ifeanyi, Mr. Ifeanyi Odo Paul, that was wrongly or that was taken away on case of kidnapping and stuff, and you were at the forefront of the whole thing. What would you say now, like maybe the experience or maybe just a nutshell of the whole thing from your own perspective of the victory and everything? Okay,
fine. My experience keep coming every day.
Yes.
And that case was a challenging one. Because of the perceived interest, of some persons, whom for one reason or the other, I wouldn't want to mention their names here. It became so high. And I'm aware that he was alleged to have committed this crime. Testimonies coming, circumstances of his arrest, never point to him actually getting involved in that crime. Kidnapping as long as it is today is a crime that, in fact, the whole Nigeria frowns at. So once somebody is suspected to have, been connected to that, everybody becomes careful. Even you as a lawyer taking up the matter will also be careful to make sure you are not exonerating the guilty one. But that particular case, after a series of investigation was done, the numbers were there was a way they did it. They did so many things with the numbers and discovered that these people never met. They never had any connection whatsoever. And that was how the young man was actually released. Now, what was the circumstances behind his arrest? Mistaken identity. The young man who claims he was kidnapped said that this young man resembled somebody who actually participated in kidnapping. And that was all. So it becomes so funny. But because the position of the law remains that no matter suspicion, no matter how good, no matter how best fixed, cannot grant conviction. So that's just what actually transpired in that case. And I keep learning because it made me to understand that if the police wants to do investigation, they will do investigation and give you the results. But sometimes they will do this investigation and would want to come out clean with the outcome of their investigation. But being also a regimental organization where people are always afraid of maybe petition or consequences of either of the action, the person may say, okay, to stand clean, let me push the matter to court. And if such matter is taken to court, it's not as if they are going to get conviction. The person at the end of the day is still going to go home. But it may now take a long period of time because of our criminal justice system. Yes.
Okay.
So that's it.
Now, Nsukka being a cultural conscious zone in Nigeria now, and we are the elders who are the custodians of this culture, do step in when need be to settle dispute among people. You know, do you think the elders, their roles in conflict resolution is a hindrance to the legal practice? And how do cultural practices and belief in Nsukka impact the enforcement of the law in Nsukka?
Okay, this is a bit long, but let me see how I can start.
Like between the legal law of Nigeria
Yes.
being enforced in Nsukka, how do the custodians of traditions, because we are, you know, culturally conscious zone,
Yes.
you know, how do you think is there conflict between those custodians and the legal
System.
law? Yeah.
Okay, first is that there wouldn't be.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be, because if the custodians of the custom
Yeah.
have taken a decision on a matter, that particular decision taken is still subject of the decision of the court.
Yeah. Okay.
So if a matter is taken before the custodians of the custom and tradition, and they make pronouncement, and either of the parties feels, I am not comfortable with the decision of these people, is they have a right to still proceed to the courts, to have the court ventilate that particular situation.
Yeah.
Look into it critically and then make pronouncements.
Yeah.
The challenges we have with the custodians of our custom and tradition is compromise. Compromise and inability to arrive at the truth,
Yeah.
relying on the available evidence and facts. Probably because they are not trained persons to know how to extract evidence from people.
Yeah.
You know that in the olden days, when this custom, the custodians of our tradition used to be a strong institution, is because then we believe that there are other supernatural beings that can actually interface or intercede to see that truth prevails.
Yeah.
Those days, if our elders are having meeting and deliberation over a particular thing, and there seems not to be truth coming out from the parties, they subject it to a supernatural being that will actually drive one party to actually disclose. Either the person will go mad or something mystical will happen to that person. But since that institution was destroyed, even the elders began to compromise. And that is why people are no longer comfortable with submitting themselves to
the customs.
Yes.
Okay. Now, moving on, what cultural practices in Nsukka do you think contradicts to the constitutional provision with regards to human rights?
Okay, for now, Nsukka seems to be on the forefront of championing human rights.
Okay.
I've been able to, look, not being certain as to a particular custom and tradition of our people that is against the provisions of the Constitution and human rights. Save for these few occasions. About last year, 2 places I remember. One at Eluguezike, one at Arono. Okay, 3 places. One at Eluguezike, one at Arono, and one at Nsukka town here.
Yeah.
In these 3 instances, the one at Eluguezike was paraded. You know, I think he was equally ostracized for, he said that he was caught in the shrine, you know, invoking a particular person. The people who had him, you know, came out, mobilized the entire village, and stripped him naked and paraded him, sue him to deity. And of course, the young man kept denying. Then at Arono, a woman was alleged to have gone into an affair with another man in a bush, and the husband just died like the previous day. When they were caught, they were stripped naked and paraded. The one that happened at Nsukka here happens to be a man who was sleeping with his younger brother's wife. He made confession. That one they didn't strip him naked, but they paraded him. Now, ab initio, this seemed to be our custom. This seemed to be the perception, the belief of our people, that anybody who participates in this kind of atrocities I just mentioned should be stripped naked and paraded, given a public judgment, public disgrace. But the law is against it. The law frowns at such. Yes, the law says that in such a situation, you should subject the person if they feel in any way, because the position of law is that any law, any crime that is not written, any wrong that is not written as a crime, and a penalty prescribed, is not a crime. So that's public disgrace, public embarrassment is against the dignity of human person. Reducing them to torture and inhuman treatment is in contrary to their fundamental rights.
Yes.
And these are the customs we should actually bring to the notice of our people, that these are customs that are in variance with the provisions of the Constitution, provision of people and their rights and all of that. So that is it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Nsukka masquerade system.
Okay.
You know, there's been several occasions where it has been tagged brutal and inhuman. You know, we have the cases of Oriokpa, Katakpa, and others, the brutality and everything. What was your take on that in regards to human rights and the legal system?
Okay, the point is that I think the issue of that Oriokpa has come on public discussion.
Yeah.
And prior to this incident that happened recently, I had earlier taken the Oriokpa and Nsukka to court.
Okay.
I did that that was in 2019. A colleague of mine, Barrister Ben Oloko, while taking her sister taking her back to school on Sunday at Nru Junction, was accosted by these Oriokpas and this masquerade, and they inflicted lots of injuries on them. We went to police station, we lodged a complaint. When the police came, they were deserted. We couldn't get even one person. Then what we did was to file an action in court to proscribe that particular organization so that the law would ban that Oriokpa. So the late Igwe, Silvanus Aroma, then was the sole Igwe covering the entire Nru. Yeah. And then TOC Atama was their lawyer. Yeah. So TOC came, he filed an action, he filed a counter to our reply, and then sought for settlement out of court. Yeah. In fact, I didn't want to settle, but TOC and the Igwe were such a character that you can't just say no to their plea. Okay. So after compromise was reached, we withdrew the action, and the Oriokpa continue what they are doing. So now, fast forward to this last year, a lot of things happened within this Oriokpa that actually made me to begin to regret the decision I made earlier by withdrawing that suit. Because you can see our Oriokpa, they are no longer civil. I don't think these masquerade are people who are sensible. I think they are being paraded by animals. Because when you look at the things they committed within this period they were parading, it calls for a reform. And if they can't reform, then they should actually be put to stop entirely. Yes, but for me, because they are part of our custom and tradition, I had always advocated for a reform. Yes. So that the individuals involved will be personally liable to their actions. Yes. So that is my position with respect to that.
How do you, let's go into a little bit about this whole agent and housing system. You know, there's been outcry by a lot of people regarding the excess fee charges by agents, the so-called agents in Nsukka. I mean, we're talking about people, about the properties, land, shops, house agents, and so many other things. How do you view that, or what's your stand on that regarding to, the civil rights and legal?
Okay. Number one is that most of the things going on here in Nsukka now are imported custom.
Okay.
There are things we learned from outside Nsukka.
Okay.
And before we start learning some things, I've always said it, we should look at the implication. We should look at the implication and our peculiarity as Nsukka people. Because an average Nsukka person is human, is meeky in heart, is considerate. But because of, I think, the little development we are seeing here and there, we are now importing those activities that have actually undermined the progress of some of these cities we are seeing.
Yeah.
Now, the issue of agent has become something that I don't know how we learned that. You see a house, and when you look at it, you discover that even the payment of that house, what the agent and the imaginary lawyer will be calling out for, you will be surprised to hear that. Because a landlord will build a house.
Yeah.
Somebody will say that the lawyer fee is this, and there is no lawyer. There is no lawyer responsible for the management of that house. And yet, when you want to make payments in that particular house, you will hear that there is a lawyer fee. You hear more agency fee. Even when you are the person that walked into that apartment to secure it. So, it's actually disturbing. I have made a proposal to the state government on this issue of tenancy activities, tenant-landlord activity. One is that we need tenancy law that will regulate the prices of houses.
Okay.
Yes, to have a rent regulation so that in a particular area, the law can determine how much should be charged in that area.
Yeah.
What should be paid for agency fee if there is need for that? What should be paid for legal fee if there is need for that? Because when in Enugu, before far back as at 2004, 2005, if you walk into an apartment yourself and say, please, is there a vacancy here? And somebody say yes, you won't pay for agency fee.
You are your own agent.
You are your own agent.
Yeah.
But if you have consulted an agent and say, please find a house for me, of course, you should know you'll be able to pay that person.
Yeah.
But it is no longer like that. Now, even if you walk to your own, you are seeing this house, somebody is moving out, they will tell you are paying agency fee, you are paying lawyer's fee and all that. So it's something we really need to look at it, but it's something we cannot handle by our own making. We can only do it by this advocacy, this kind of discussion. Probably the state government or any of our House of Assembly member can pick it up and sponsor it as a bill, and it becomes a law.
Yeah.
And if it becomes a law, then the enforceability will be
easy.
Yes, but you can't enforce a law that is not in existence.
All right. You have great respect to the rule of law and the legal system, and that's a very, very big thing to comment. Now, moving on, how do you approach cases where family dynamics and inheritance law complicates land disputes? In a situation whereby we're now having family, issues and land and individuals. How do that go on?
Okay, let me be clear. Let me understand your question.
Okay.
Are you talking about when there is a dispute relating to land among family members?
Yes.
Or between family members and outsiders?
Between family members.
Okay. Well, between family members, depending.
Yeah.
Because all cases are different.
Okay.
The fact that gave rise to a particular case may be different from another fact, though the same family issue.
Yeah.
One, you may have circumstances where somebody will be saying, it is time for us to partition what our father has left for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the question is, how are we partitioning it? Are we partitioning it per stipend or per capita? That is, per individual male member of the family, or as to the the wives.
Yeah.
So these are the issues.
Yeah.
And when it becomes so difficult for us to agree, then the next thing is to invite the court, who will now interpret the custom and tradition of the people.
Yeah.
In Nsukka here, majorly, we pay by per capita. That is, two families divide it into two.
Yeah.
Irrespective of, it doesn't matter if you have over 9 male children and I have only 2.
Yeah.
Divide it into 2, we go a separate way, the other people will go. But there has been this advocacy.
Yeah.
That sharing formula will always create, will give advantage to certain person, depriving the other people what they are supposed to benefit. Because when you look at it in all, you discover that this man gave birth to all these male children, and they are giving birth in equal capacity. Save for the fact that the family house, being the Obu, will be always be kept under the custody of the first son, in trust that any other person can have access to that particular house.
Okay.
So issue of sharing or handling the inheritance right and all of that, depending on the circumstances, depending on what they are agitating. Sometimes one will say, we just need to share what our father has left for us. Of course, you go ahead. You can't argue it. You share as a last born, and I will collect as a first born. But the situation where the firstborn is saying, no, it is not yet time, or I don't want us to share what our father has left for us, then you can proceed to court to tell the court to come and take over and share it accordingly.
Okay. Where does that now leave us with the act of writing will, bringing it down to Nsukka? I mean, back in the days, our fathers didn't go by writing of will and stuff, but now, the modern system, you see people, going over to the will, writing wills and making sure things are done properly. Is that going to be an issue? Is that being an issue with the custom versus the legal way? Okay.
From beginning, our people have always made a will.
Okay.
The only difference is that those days, it may not have been written.
Okay.
And because of the deterioration of our custom and tradition, that people began to violate the order made by their ancestors. Then the law now came in to say, okay, if you are sure that this thing wants to be this way, put it down in writing. You and I know that those days, personally while I was growing up, I used to hear there are things that when your father has said something, it remains unchallenged. And you said, okay, in some instances, the father will say, if I die, let me not be taken to the mortuary. Some people will doubt it. And if you do, something will come along with it. But you know that these days, even if the man says, don't take me to mortuary, one money bag from the family will say, take him to the mortuary. And after going to the mortuary, the man will come back, they will bury him, nothing will happen. That is the reason, that is the deterioration of our custom and tradition. And because of that, the law says, okay, make a will. Making a will means that you are now determining how your assets, how the things you have acquired will actually be shared upon your demise. So that nobody, if you feel that Chika, who has been stubborn and refused to take your instruction as his father, and hasn't observed or respect you as a father, should not benefit from your estate, that will of course, deprive him that opportunity. Because failure to make that way, what it means is that if you die and Chika happens to be the first son, he will step in and begin to make decisions for the rest of the family, even when Chika never appreciated your strength and capacity as his father. So that is on the aspect of that way. So our people from beginning had always made will. And those good days, those wills they made used to stand. Like I have during when my grandfather was alive, we had a daughter who was born out of wedlock. And as beautiful as it is, he said, okay, You see this one plot of land, nobody should tamper with it. This is her own. And it remains even up to now. For now, nobody has dared to do otherwise.
Yeah.
That does not mean that a generation will not come in that family to say, how can? In fact, leave this land. And the question will be, if you say your father has given you this land, what is the proof?
Wow.
But then, maybe then, the people who are supposed to say that they were there when this thing happened
may no longer be
there.
Yeah.
But if it had been reduced down in writing, the document will speak for itself.
I mean, still on that whole thing, the inheritance law, in Nigeria now, even in Enugu, most times it's of disadvantage to the women, because in most cases where they're sharing things, properties, or anything that's left by the father, you see the women being counted out. I mean, have you had those cases where you've had to challenge on this kind of thing?
Okay, good. Presently, I have a matter that is pending before the Enugu High Court.
Okay.
This particular matter, I won't mention the area.
Yeah.
But it happened at the Enugu. The man had about 7 children, and out of 7 of them, they are all female. So the death came, took almost 4, remaining 3. So these 3 persons have all married. They are in their respective husband's place. Now, the closest relation of the father moved into their father's estate and started selling some of those. So they came. Now, the question is this: what do? We don't want the legacies of our father to go into extinction or to be bought over and sold off entirely. That we want to have a share from it. Of course, we looked at the law. Presently, the Court of Appeal decision, even the Supreme Court, have actually made pronouncements as to the inheritance right of a female child. The case of Nkem Delem and Nkem Delem. There are so many of them. They are emphatic on this. But there has been this remaining area where we are all looking at to see the pronouncement of the court. When these people are married, will they still be entitled to benefit from the estate of their father, especially land and all that? So we are still pursuing that particular interpretation. And this case pending at Elugu is also going to be, I'm hoping that it is also going to be one of the cases that will address the issue as to when the female children have gotten married.
Okay. Now, that's a good one. Do you think the local police and the judiciary do you think they are truly impartial? Or are they influenced by political individuals or financial pressures in Nsukka?
Okay, well, I don't want to combine it. I don't want to combine it. I want to place judiciary one side, because the way the police as an institution has positioned themselves is not something that I would want to associate them with the judiciary. You can't compare the corruption in the police with that of the judiciary. So the police as of today has become a mirage of itself. It has become a mockery. So we can't really combine it. The police act on the whims and caprices of the highest bidder. And it is so pronounced, they are not pretending about it. Unlike the judiciary, that some bad eggs in the judiciary may pretend even while they are carrying on the atrocity. So why I wouldn't want, when we are comparing, we begin to compare the police and the judiciary. They are not in the same class in any way. The police is on the class of its own. The judiciary is on the class of its own. And the corruption that is in these two institutions is not something that we should actually compare both of them together.
Do you think the local government officials in Nsukka, do you think they respect the independence of the judiciary here in Nsukka?
Okay, respecting or not respecting the independence of the judiciary it can only be determined if you have had reasons to be before the judiciary.
Okay.
So far, there has not been any interference noticeable to that effect.
Okay.
I understand that when the current mayor came to power, he applied for amicable settlement of some matters of the local government pending before the court.
Okay.
I think they are still on it, and though some persons have returned back to the court to say, no, we are not comfortable with the way they are handling it. But I haven't seen reasons to believe that they are interfering with the independence of the judiciary.
Okay.
But let me be honest, they don't have the capacity
to interfere.
The local government has no capacity to interfere.
Okay.
The state may, possess the requisite powers or capacity to interfere with the independence of the judiciary, but not local government.
Okay. Now, I guess this will be the final question for this section. Okay. Now, if you could push for one major legal reform in Nsukka, what would that be and why?
Well, if I should push for police reform.
Okay.
Police activities in Nsukka should actually be looked into.
Okay.
Because over the years, the police in Nsukka have actually acted like an outlaws.
Okay.
They've actually done a lot of things, a lot of extortion, a lot of intimidation. In fact, for the years of my practice, I haven't been able to see places where the police extort their victims like they do here in Nsukka. In fact, Nsukka has become a viable ground for police officers, and that is why whenever you succeed in writing off a particular officer to be transferred out of Nsukka, you see the person struggling by all means to come back. So that because this is an area where, one, you make the money, the people are no hostile. We have never led any protest to the police station, maybe to vandalize or destroy the facilities of the police in reaction to what they are doing. They are not also a target. Unlike some other places, when you do some of these things, we become a dangerous species to the masses. So that is why you see them. It's a very nice place for them. They will be here making their money, and the people are not also hostile. Wow. So I will also be calling for this for police activities in Nsukka to be looked into. I have a pending matter in the police station. I reported that I lodged that complaint this morning. A particular sector in the police, connive with a friend to defraud my client his hard-earned money. And not only that, they unlawfully seized his motorcycle and proceeded to ask him that he will bring about 2-point-something million naira by the end of next month. That's the end of February. So the boy say he cannot because he has committed no crime. So this morning, I lodged a complaint to the area commander. I copied them to the commissioner of police. Why I didn't write to the commissioner is because I wouldn't want to I would want to give them the benefit of, returning this money and settling this matter amicably. But failure which we can even go as far as Abuja on this issue.
All right. It's been a very, very wonderful session with you, Barrister. And we've been able to learn a lot of things from your intellectual ability, exposing a lot of things for us and giving it to us as hard as it is. And I must tell you that we enjoyed this session, and I'm sure the viewers are watching and are learning a lot from what you are saying and what you are teaching us today. I want to thank you so much for coming again, and any last word from you to the audience, please.
Okay. Again, I would want to say thank you for having me. It's a privilege. I consider this a privilege because there are a lot of my colleagues out there, there are a lot of friends out there, and I am found worthy to be in your program. I have been following your program just like I said. It's been a wonderful one.
Thank you, sir.
And I will only leave you with words of encouragement.
All right, sir.
Telling you not to stop. The people that we are seeing today started somewhere. And we are good. This is coming close to us. Where we are now building circle of people who will grow tomorrow to take over the world. To me, I have always believed that there is nothing impossible for us to achieve. We have been given that potential, and by God's grace, we are going to get there someday. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys. Here is where we come to the end of this episode on HardCore Podcast. You heard it from Barrister Agbowo himself. Keep watching, keep subscribing to the YouTube channel, and keep liking and sharing. Always listen to him because he is one of the most intellectual legal practitioner we have here in Nsukka, and he always shares a lot when he always talk about rule of law, the legal system, and everything that has to do with the common man and Nigerian system in whole. Till we come your way again on next episode. Don't forget that this is still HardCore Podcast. No hard feelings. Bye for now. HardCore. No hard feelings.